Punk Revolution now! Today we're gonna be reviewing Dummy! Dummy's debut album, Mandatory Enjoyment. Whenever I hear Dummy, all I can think of is, she goes dummy on my dingus. That's what I think of. So Dummy, they're a really cool band. They caught my attention last year with a couple EPs they released that were exploring genres that frankly aren't getting enough love as they deserve in 2021. We're talking about that, psychedelic drony music going back to like the 60s. You can kind of think starting maybe with the Velvet Underground, with the organs and the viola. It's like this droniness that kind of expands, but it's real trippy and psychedelic. And you can also think of like space rock. You can think of the space race throughout the 60s. That's definitely inspired a lot of artists in psychedelic music and space pop to bring some spacey, awesome themes into their music. And then throughout the 70s with krautrock, and then even into the 90s with Stereolab bringing in some noise pop and some shoegaze influence, kind of continuing this legacy. Well, in 2021, these are great genres. Don't see it happening too much, at least not happening well very, very often, frankly. But Dummy thick on my dingus. Dummy is bringing the magic. They are continuing this legacy, carrying the torch of psychedelic drony, epic, feel good, spacey, psychedelic drony epicness. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the album cover. This album cover looks like an acid trip that's going really well and you feel really good. At least I'm assuming, because I've never done acid, but I'm assuming if you do a lot of acid and it feels good, it probably looks something like this. It's very, you got the smiling sun. It looks really, it's colorful. It's very innocent, and it's just a feel-good cover. I actually got this album cover on vinyl here because it's, just look at that. Look at the vinyl here. Isn't that just so dope? It looks fucking dope. I love the sky there, the smiling sun. It's an album cover that puts a smile on your face, and then you got the title Mandatory Enjoyment. You know you're going into an album that's gonna make you feel good, and it's psychedelic. Obviously, psychedelic rock takes influence from psychedelic drugs, and we're already getting that vibe with the album cover already. So the music's gonna be should be pretty trippy too. I love all the influences that Dummy are bringing to the table here. A lot of these songs are very kind of like jammy, where there's a lot of repetition of maybe some kind of bass line that's real groovy, but then you'll have like sustained synths that are kind of maybe a little bit like a mildly sort of kind of fuzzy feel to the production that's kind of lo-fi. So it's it's real, like just getting into those really satisfying groovy textures, and you can be jamming to the drum. And the drums, honestly, in this record, a lot of the times the way they're pounding, it feels like they're playing pretty loud. Like this album feels to me like, yes, you got these satisfying, juicy, yummy tones coming through that are kind of dream poppy with the gentle vocals singing, and these melodies are really tasty as well. But I can just kind of tell, I feel like if this is a band you see live, I get the impression that it's just they're gonna be fucking banging and playing loud and hard and stuff. So it kind of blends that nice line of satisfying, cozy. You can lay in bed and listen to this and just feel good, and it's not going to be too intense. But you can also tell they've got some raw energy here, and you can definitely hear in the way some of these songs evolve that they're here to do more than just give you some pleasant textures. They're here to take you on a real journey. I absolutely love the song Cloud Pleaser. The way that song kind of it has this drone that feels good, and it kind of builds and builds, and then kind of like halfway through the song, it just kind of like opens up with this kind of gorgeous synthy. I don't even know how they're making it, but it just sounds like you take some of the most like satisfying, beautiful moments out of like My Bloody Valentine, and it just feels like you're skipping through the meadows. And then right after that, they have this song HVAC, which kind of has a similar, you're gonna see similarly some drony psychedelicness that kind of evolves, but instead we're gonna see it kind of take a very different direction where it gets real noisy and almost has like a kind of like a noise rock breakdown, and there's this kind of like post-punky guitar riff that comes in. I think that's great the way they have, like, especially in the guitars, the weird angular kind of real mechanical guitars sound very post-punky. Some people might listen to this and they might kind of just jump to the conclusion that this is just a band that's kind of regurgitating, psychedelic bands of the past. You know, there's no doubt there's a lot of influence coming from those bands, but I think if you jump to that conclusion, you're missing a lot of the cool things they blend in a unique way. This is ultimately a very versatile record, so you don't just dismiss it as as another generic psychedelic rock record, because it's really not. Another thing I really like about this record is a lot of the tones coming through remind me a decent amount of the shoegaze band Flying Saucer Attack, which is like a fucking amazing shoegaze band. Both of these bands have this kind of beautiful guitar tone that's real fuzzy and drony, but also just I can just kind of feel like this kind of krautrockiness coming through within the shoegaze. So we got lots of cool influences. We got noise pop, psychedelic rock, krautrock, space rock, shoegaze, post-punk, a little bit of noise rock I mentioned in there. This is covering a lot of ground that all cohesively comes together in one record that is very satisfying to listen to, and I really enjoy it. I love it so much. I love the production as well. It's like I said, like it's pretty, kind of has like a sort of a lo-fi feel in a way that just makes it feel right out of the 60s. I love the vocals. We got male vocals, female vocals, both complement each other. Great vocals. I love the lyrics here about space and whatever the fuck else they're singing. It's a cool record. Personally, for me, I hope they get even louder, because I can tell this band, you can just tell it's a band, just all these fucking people just fucking playing the shit out of their instruments. I want to hear, maybe because I'm a punk fan and metal fan, I just want to hear that shit get fucking loud. Which is like, I think, a production choice. I think the production choice here of having it like a chill, lo-fi vibe works really well, but I want to hear some loudness. I want to hear some fucking psychedelic swans. I don't know. So good shit. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Excited to see what they do next. So that's all I have to say, folks. Check it out. Dummy, mandatory enjoyment, so you have to enjoy it, and if you don't like it, then you have to fucking get the fuck off my YouTube channel. Punk Revolution, please like, comment, subscribe now.